Hey, bud. Hello. Wanna be in the video? Oh, he's gone now. What? Grab a coffee or a tea or a snack or whatever you feel like, and we're just gonna sit down and hang out. Today's video is gonna be all about building healthy, happy habits. I'm not like the most successful, accomplished, healthy person that there is, but I have learned a lot as far as making lifestyle changes and getting rid of old, unhealthy, or toxic habits, things that no longer served me or helped me feel my best self, and slowly integrating and incorporating healthier habits that just help me feel good, help me feel my best me. I want to share some of the tips of things that I've learned over the years that have really helped me to make some positive changes in my life. And yeah, let's get right into it. My first tip when you're wanting to make lifestyle changes or incorporate new habits in your life, or maybe get rid of old habits, is to have a why. You want to be a healthier person, or you want to be a happier person. You recognize and are aware that maybe some of the things that you're doing just don't work for you. I don't know about you, but when I was little, or throughout my life, I always kind of had like this vision of the woman that I wanted to be, what she was gonna look like, and you know, how she would behave, how she would act, what her habits would be on a day-to-day basis. And so it's kind of important to get back to that vision of like, who is the person that you want to be? Why do you want to be that person? And then, hey bud. And just coming back to that why. So one thing that I did that my friend actually, she did first, and I was like, that's such a good idea, is I made I think they're called mind maps, or we called the mind maps in school, but it's like that bubble in the middle, and you put the main kind of topic, and then it has all those other branched out webs or bubbles, like subcategories. So I did a mind map, and I still have it in my old notebook, of like who I want to be. And so I put all the characteristics, all the things, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, socially, like all the things that I want to be, who I want to be, and what that woman looked like. Kind of almost like a vision board where I look back to it and I refer to it a lot, and I just remind myself like, yes, this is who I want to be. This is my first coffee today. I really need it. And that why needs to be really strong, because that's that desire, that urge that's going to take you to the next step of actually taking the action to build the new habit or to make the change. The second tip that I want to share with you is to start small. Like, take baby steps, ease yourself into it. I think so often we set these high expectations on ourselves. I know I did, and I even do still all the time, but it's difficult. We just set these like crazy high standards for ourselves, or I think when we compare ourselves to other people and what they're doing, we think we need to like make this drastic change. It's like that all or nothing thinking, right? Where it's like you go all in or nothing, and it's like, well, it doesn't have to be that way. You can gradually incorporate these new habits into your life, or you can gradually ease yourself away from old habits that no longer serve you. And what that does is it makes it easier, and it's not so much of a shock to the system. It's being kinder to yourself. It's gonna help prevent you from feeling stressed and overwhelmed, because when we feel stressed and overwhelmed, when things feel hard, we're less likely to stick with them. And I think that's just kind of the way humans work. If you look around, we're always looking for what's easy, what's convenient. So we want to make things easy on ourselves, and by taking just small steps and really easing into things, that's how we're gonna do it. Really small things in the moment might seem kind of silly or insignificant, and your ego might come in and say like, oh, this is so small, it's not even doing anything. Walter's putting himself to bed. But yeah, even small changes, small things, when you look at it in the long run on a big scale, it's compounded over time, will add up to big results and big outcomes. I normally try to walk or move my body for at least half an hour every single day. So that's just like a promise that I've made to myself. That's something that's very attainable to me. For you, I feel like I just spit for you. It might be 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and totally okay. I started at 15 minutes. and I slowly worked my way up to half an hour. But I just took the weekend off, and that's great. But even just taking a few days off, now I woke up this morning and I was kind of like, my thoughts. Remember, I don't believe everything you think, but my thoughts were like, I don't want to do anything today. I just want to relax on the couch with Walter. I know deep down, and because I've been doing this for a while now, that walking and moving my body is going to help me be the best me. It's going to help me be in a better mood, get more energy. I'm going to think clearer. Start with one thing. Okay, we're just going to do our 30 minutes of moving our body. And that's the only thing we're going to focus on today. And let's just get that over with first, and just taking that first step right here, right now in this moment. What's one small step I can take to be the person that I want to be, or be healthier, or be happier? So I put my shoes on, and then I'm going to get outside, and I'm just going to start walking around my neighborhood, and I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes, and I'm going to do that for 10 minutes rather than sit and scroll on my phone for 10 minutes. It's all really comes down to the choices that we make, and in each moment we have the choice to take a step towards happiness and productivity and feeling healthy and becoming better versions of ourselves, more successful, more accomplished, or we can make a choice that's gonna do the opposite. I was building my morning routine. I just was like, okay, every single morning I'm gonna meditate for 2 minutes right when I wake up. And that's what I started with. Slowly I worked up my way up to 3 minutes, and then slowly it was 5. And then from there it's like, okay, after I meditate, then I'm gonna make my bed, and slowly, gradually adding things on, but just easing into it. And it's gonna make it easier, more enjoyable. It's not gonna be so stressful and overwhelming, and you're more likely to stick with it. So, and yeah, my third tip is just to do what best fits for you. Like if you're comparing yourself to somebody else and what they're doing, it might not be the best fit for you. So then when you try to force yourself to do that, it's gonna feel hard, or you're not gonna have fun, you're not gonna enjoy it, and you're less likely to stick with it. Trial and error a few things, right? Like maybe you have no idea what you enjoy, no idea what you like. So you might get little bits and pieces from like YouTube videos or from friends or family of things. And then yeah, you can slowly kind of like try things out. Example with exercise, I have had 2 back surgeries. I know, okay, so I can lift light weights and do really light modified exercises. I can walk. Like walking is so enjoyable for me. That's what works for me. I can call my mom or a friend and listen to a podcast or listen to my favorite music and get outside and just like be alone. I love walking, but some people really might not enjoy walking, but they love riding their bike. So go for bike rides every day, 15 minutes, or doesn't even have to be every day, but moving your body in some way every day in a way that you enjoy. Because probably said this a lot in this video, but when you enjoy it, it's gonna feel easier. It's gonna be something that you look forward to doing, that you want to do. So my 4th tip is to just remember and remind yourself, like, there is no end goal. There's no finish line. I mean, it's good to have goals for sure, but it's like, how often do you find you set a goal for yourself and you work really hard towards it, but then it's like once you reach that goal, then a lot of the times that incentive's gone, and then you kind of stop doing what you were doing. Remember that making healthy habits, it's a process. We're always changing, we're always evolving, we're always growing. So yeah, like we might not be doing the same habits, the same things that we did 3 years ago or 5 years ago or whatever, but let your lifestyle and your habits evolve with you. I think it's just about enjoying each day, and that's why it's so important to find things that fit for you and that you find easy and enjoyable, because you want to do it, you know, all the time, and you want it to be your life, and you want to enjoy the process, and ultimately it's to help you be happier and to be more content with your life and feel more joy and more pleasure. Overlap things. So like I was saying earlier about walking, I walk and I talk to my mom, or I walk and I listen to a podcast. So I'm doing 2 things that I enjoy at once, 2 things that make me happier and help me be better at once. Or even if it's not nice outside and I just kind of feel like being lazy and watching TV on the couch, instead I'll be like, okay, well, I'm sitting here watching a show, I might as well like hop on my treadmill, which I'm grateful enough to have a treadmill. You might not, but you can kind of stack things or overlap them. So something that you enjoy with something that you know you'll feel good and it'll help you, but you may not necessarily have the motivation to do it, and to stack them together. So I'll watch a show as I'm on the treadmill, or watch a show while I'm stretching, or, you know, things like that. Reward yourself and praise yourself and cheer yourself on with all the little small wins. But I think that's almost more enjoyable, is the journey of getting there, because like happiness isn't a destination, right? So once you reach that goal, it's not going to make you all of a sudden like feel fulfilled and happy. You're always going to be like, okay, now the next goal and the next goal and what's next. Whereas if you would learn to enjoy each day and the moment and the process of it, and remember that it's just something that you're going to do for the rest of your life, it just helps you feel more content and more grateful. And I think ultimately, yeah, it helps you be happier, and you're not always looking for what's next. Have some sort of reminder or tool to help you for when you're feeling unmotivated or discouraged, or you're kind of plateauing, or maybe you're even reverting a little bit. That's okay. We're human, and just like everything in life, it ebbs and flows, and it's not linear. Progress is not linear. It's very much like this. And you know, that's why enjoying each moment and enjoying the process of what you're doing and each step, often really hard, you know, even like I was saying today, when you just don't have any motivation, you don't have any energy to get yourself to continue on with what you're trying to accomplish. I encourage you to like have a partner or buddy or somebody that can help you be accountable. Me and my mom, we do like a walk and talk, we call it. So if I want to go on a walk and I just feel like I need that little motivation, like we call each other and we just talk and we catch up at the same time as we're walking, and it just helps it go by faster. It's enjoyable, even with your mind map or your vision board to refer to every night, to look at, to remind yourself of why you're doing what you're doing. Because I mean, even though you might enjoy something, like I enjoy walking, but there's going to be days like today where my mind was telling me I didn't feel like it. I didn't have the motivation. And a lot of the times we don't have the motivation. So that's what I was saying too. It's important to kind of stack things with something that you do really enjoy and that you find fun. And that's easy. That doing it at the same time is like the habit that you know you want to do, but you just don't have the motivation to do it. Going back to those baby steps, if you need to, maybe you have like a mantra too that you tell yourself, or like affirmations that you want to say. Having some things in your toolbox, some reminders of why you're doing what you're doing, help keep you on track when it's feeling hard, when you're feeling discouraged. I think too often before things get better, sometimes they get worse, and we have to kind of go through a dip of a low point, or maybe even a plateau or whatever, where you're not really feeling or seeing much progress or results. But it's in those times where you just keep pushing through and having your tools in your toolbox to remind you of why you're doing what you're doing, of that vision. Then once you kind of get through that and get through the tunnel, come back out into the light, and then you'll start to notice changes, and you'll start to feel better. And that's what almost makes it even more rewarding, I think, in my opinion. Tip number 6 kind of goes with number 5. It's to reward yourself and cheer yourself on to help reinforce the behavior or the habit that you're trying to create in your life. And I think, our brains just kind of work that way. We like positive reinforcement. So the more you do a behavior and then something positive happens after it, that's going to tell your brain that it's a good thing, and you're going to be more inclined to want to do it. As humans, we seek that kind of immediate gratification and that immediate kind of pleasure, right? So when you associate your desired action or behavior or habit that you're trying to establish in your life with something pleasurable, you're more likely to do it. I just think of like making my bed in the morning. Right after I make my bed, I like take a sec to look at it, visually seeing my room look more put together, my bed looking all nice and like crisp and white and clean and pretty and together. It just immediately gives me that sense of accomplishment and just sets my tone for the day. And like with bad habits, they give that kind of immediate pleasure. And I think that's why we get stuck in them so much, is because they're giving you, that like immediate sense of pleasure at least. Whereas sometimes healthier habits don't really give you that right away, but it's in the long run, like compounded over time, that they'll give that pleasure and those that gratification. So if we can create little moments of gratification for ourselves after or during our healthy and good habits, then yeah, you're more likely to want to stick with it and go back with it. You deserve it. You deserve to feel good after you did something good for yourself. You deserve to feel accomplished, and that's part of the why, right? Is to feel good and feel happy and feel like a better version of yourself. So yeah, just have rewards for yourself, give yourself praise to help reinforce those good habits, that good behavior that you're striving toward. And my 7th tip is to have a way to track your habits. So this one, I don't know, it might not be for everyone. I find it really works well for me. I think visually seeing yourself tracking your good habits is a way to give yourself that instant gratification, feeling accomplished, feeling good about yourself. And you can visually stay accountable and be proud of yourself. But it can be a little bit tricky because I think it's easy to get a little bit obsessive over that too, and to see they have a slip or whatever and you miss a day or two of your healthy stuff and you can see it on your tracker. If you don't have a good relationship with yourself, it could be easy to let that ego come in of beating yourself up and being hard on yourself. So you kind of have to be aware and try to be conscientious of that. If you think it'll work for you, I highly encourage trying it out. It works really good for me. I have a planner that I use every single day. I love it. And it actually has a habit tracker section. I just put things like meditate, things that I want to do every day, that I strive to do every day. I really had to do some work with myself though to take away expectations and say okay, this is what I strive towards, but I know every day I'm not going to be at 100%. There might be some days where I can only do one of these things and I'm going to be proud of myself for that. Or, cool, if I can do all of these habits in a day, I'm going to be so proud of myself. I'm going to reward myself. I just love seeing after I've done my morning routine where I've meditated, I've made my bed, I've journaled, I've read, I've done all those things. I can go on my planner, open it up, think about my day, and then I can go I don't know what that noise is, but I can tick off all those things and it just feels so good. And it's kind of that little mini reward or positive reinforcement that gives you that sense of accomplishment and gratification. And I think it just kind of helps motivate you. So another way too is with the health app on your phone, or if you have an Apple Watch, to have little fitness goals. Or I always aim to do 10,000 steps a day. So by looking and seeing, okay, I've only done 7,000 steps today, that gives me that little boost, that little motivation to be hey, 3,000 more left. We're going for another walk, or we're gonna clean the house. Days where you're feeling unmotivated or discouraged, you can look back and see oh wow, I've actually been doing really good. If you might be oh, I haven't really made many changes or anything, but if you actually look back, you are making changes. They may not feel like it in the moment because it takes time, and there's always that period where it's just kind of hard, but you can visually see okay, no, I have been doing it. I have been doing a good job. It's another kind of way to help you focus more on that process that I was talking about rather than the end goal or the end result. It's helping you look at just each day, trying to just do your best day by day and in the present, in the here and the now, rather than letting your mind wander to the future of all the what ifs and having that destination that's just an illusion, right? It's not real. It's what you're doing right here, right now, the choices that you're making for yourself. But in the other direction, when you're trying to get rid of unhealthy habits or habits that don't serve you any longer, you want to make it undesirable. You don't want it to be enjoyable. You want to make it not enjoyable. You want to do the opposite. So all of these 7 tips that I've kind of been talking about as far as building a healthier, happier lifestyle, incorporating new healthy habits into your life, you want to do the opposite for things that you're trying to get rid of in your life, how much TV you watch or how much time you spend on your phone or any sort of thing that you just feel might not be best serving you, that's maybe bringing you down a little bit, that is not part of that why, of that vision. These are some things that really helped me massively in my life with adding in healthy routines and habits that have, over the long run, compounded over time, have helped me just be a happier, healthier, better version of myself that I love and cherish, and has helped me subtract a lot of those old or unhealthy like patterns and behaviors that no longer serve me. And yeah, I just want to empower you to try and do the same. And I'm still doing it. It's a continuous, lifelong process. We all just are doing our best right here, right now, in the present moment. And yeah, if I can give you a little bit of motivation, inspiration, maybe I sparked something inside of you, then I'm so happy. If you have anything that you want to add to this or any questions or anything, please feel free to comment or to like this video. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you got to drink more of your coffee than I did. I was too busy chatting, and Walter's sleeping behind me, of course. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you in my next video.